Hey there, Hofstra fans. Welcome to the WB Mason Coaches Report here on GoHofstra.com. My name is Kevin Dexter, joined as always by the head coach of the Hofstra Pride men's lacrosse team, Seth Tierney. Coach, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Coach, coming off a tough one this past Saturday against UMass. What are your overall thoughts on the loss?
Just incredibly frustrating, Kev. It's been a, obviously with these 4 one-goal losses, it's been a rough go at it, and the players are frustrated, the coaches are frustrated. I'm sure our program and supporters are frustrated. We ended up going back, and you're looking at things, just trying to figure out a way to get over the top. Yesterday we had a great practice, but we got to be able to do it in the games. And some of the things that had come up were, we played 13 lacrosse games. We've only been down at halftime in 1 of them. We've been tied in 2 of them, and the other 10 we've been leading. Because the coaching staff obviously was questioning themselves on, is it something that we're doing? Excuse me. And it just, the game plans have been solid. I mean, there's no getting around it. It's just holding and playing well in the second half, and so we'll try something new this week, and we got to push in the pile. We win, we're in, and that's the only motivating factor that you need to know. It's the way it was last week. We knew UMass was a good team, and they were playing like a trapped rat as well, and they came back. But it was 5-1 at one point in time. Things were working the way we wanted them to work, and then one thing leads to another, and we got to just shake that feeling and go out and win lacrosse games that we should win.
And knowing how big of a rivalry Hofstra-UMass is, and of course the way the game ended, I'm sure that makes it even more frustrating, especially with the circumstances.
Yeah, no question. Listen, I've got all the utmost respect for Greg Caneller and that team, and a lot of those guys. They're friends on the teams. We recruit against the similar guys, and that's what makes it a rivalry. It really does. So it was incredibly hard to know that we're up 5-1. We had a couple of opportunities to make it 6-1 and even 7-1 before that. There was some penalties called, and they got to, we got to like 6-3 at halftime. And then just coming out at halftime, that they get one, and then that feeling comes around, and we just got to eliminate that feeling. Yesterday, we had a halftime of practice. Again, we went back to that where we practiced. We go in for halftime, and we watched a little film, and we came back. And we had to gear it back up and go after it in practice just to get that feeling going. And again, the guys, they're doing an unbelievable job. They really are. Again, I know our record is still a winning record. It's been a disappointing year up until this point. And now we're trying to put together a game plan to win. Not to lose, but we'll put the game plan to win. And let's push in the pile. Penn State's a very good team. But let's put in a game plan to win, like we do all the time, and let's push in the pile.
Well, knowing the implications coming up this Saturday against Penn State, we'll talk about that in a second. How tough is it going to be for the staff, for the team, to put UMass behind them, such a tough loss, the rivalry game, and focus up on Penn State, knowing how important it is?
Yeah, we started yesterday. Just I guess in every loss, and Penn State obviously, UMass weighs a little bit heavier just because of the rivalry and what the implications were in the UMass game. Yeah, it's going to sting. It's going to sting today. It stung yesterday, but I'm hopeful that by the time Wednesday or Thursday, that we've just got, we're totally locked in on what we're doing, and we move forward.
Well, when you look at a Penn State team, they haven't lost in conference play yet. Now they're up in the top 10 in the polls. Obviously, they've had a real good season. How do you look at trying to attack them in order to get that win on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, listen, first and foremost, their attack is, it's similar to preparing for a North Carolina type team. Their attack is their heart of their team. They got a lot of points coming out of those 3 attackmen. Everything goes through them. They've got a couple of very athletic middies. Defensively, they're playing well, and they're facing off at 55-56% there. And they got Austin in the goal. Austin Kautza, he's a top goaltender. So again, we've faced teams just like Penn State all year long. There's no getting around it, and it's going to take an unbelievable effort for 60 minutes. I can't emphasize that more. We've done a great job with effort. Hasn't been an issue. Execution for 60 minutes, and it's not because of what we're doing. It's just how we're finishing it and letting things affect us, and one thing turning into another, and that has trickled down into those 1-goal losses.
Well, in addition to the game against Penn State on Saturday, it's also going to be senior night. A couple of guys that you're going to be honoring before the game. Just talk a little bit about the seniors and what they've meant to the program before such an important game on Saturday.
Yeah, certainly. First and foremost, we have 3 fifth-year seniors that won't be honored because they were honored in last years before they decided to come back in Loazzo and Hamilton and Mullen. And first and foremost, those guys have been unbelievable. To have them around for 5 years, I understand why football has a redshirting situation, because when you have guys in your program for 5 years, you're talking about a half a decade. You're talking about relationships that are a little bit heavier, and you've been through another year of things, which is an awful lot. That's first and foremost. And then, you know, the guys that are graduating, natural 4-year seniors, you know, they've been unbelievable for Hofstra. They really have. We've had a couple of guys have been some transfers, and they've been with us for a year or two. And Jason Rosenzweig's only been with us for a year. He's going to be graduating, and he's played an unbelievable role as a 1-year guy. And Ryan O'Leary, you know, he's done an unbelievable job in 2 years. And sometimes it's hard for those guys to come in. The first year you get here, even as a junior, you're really a freshman, and the second year you're a senior, so you're on your way out. But you know, when you talk about some of those guys that have been here for 4 years, Cody Shalaya, unbelievable person. You know, John Antonides, what he's given to Hofstra lacrosse, Rob Belair's. You know, you're talking about guys that have done unbelievable things for us. Ryan Brandt, you know, comes here from Ohio State, you know, 2 years on the team, you know, unbelievable goalie, you know, and it just so happens that Chris Selva's playing well, but Ryan's done an unbelievable job. And there are others out there, you know, Aaron Jones. I don't want to leave anybody out. Drew Caholen is a senior, but, you know, right now he's going to get a red shirt here, so he's not going to be part of the festivities of coming back. Adrian Sorke, you know, how many highlight reel goals has he scored for us? You know, so there are guys out there. Jordan Freed, you know, how many times do you see Jordan Freed in a post-game press conference? You don't. He's played a role on this team that's bigger than some of the starters, and I'm certainly going to miss all of them. And again, I may have left one out, but it's not for a lack of respect of what they've done.
Well, looking at the game coming up on Saturday, of course, you mentioned it before, you need a win over Penn State to qualify for the conference tournament, or with a loss, there's a couple of different scenarios that you could still qualify for. But overall, knowing those scenarios, how much are you going to be looking at those out-of-town games? Are you just focusing on yourself on Saturday? What is the overall game plan looking into this weekend?
We're going to win Saturday. Everything else is, you know, we don't want to hear. We can't leave our fate to other programs and other teams. We've got to win Saturday. That's what needs to take place. That's it.
Well, also coming up after, if you are fortunate enough to qualify for the conference tournament has been moved up. The league announced earlier this week to Wednesday, Friday. Just what are your thoughts on that coming up?
Yeah, I mean, listen, people that are above me have made a decision. Obviously, there was a conflict of some reason, and whatever it is, if we're fortunate enough to be in the conference tournament, then at that point in time, just tell us where, tell us when, and we'll be there.
Well, as we mentioned, you need a win on Saturday to qualify for the conference tournament. What's it going to take to do that against Penn State?
60 minutes of relentless effort and execution. We got to finish our shots. We got to get some stops. We got to get some face-offs in the second half. The guys know. You know, the guys that are out there, they played a lot of lacrosse for Hofstra. They're as frustrated as anybody out there, even more so because they have spilt their blood and sweat for this program, so they're hurting as well. And we'll be locked in for Saturday.
Oh, a huge game for head coach Seth Tierney and the Pride coming up on Saturday against Penn State, 7 o'clock start at James M. Stewart Stadium. Make sure to come out and support the Pride. Coach, thanks so much for the time. Best of luck.
Thanks, Kevin.
And thank you for tuning in to the WB Mason Coaches Report here on GoHofstra.com.